Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is your instructor Joy. Today we're going to talk about how one could choose the right bow. What should we look for and how do we test and find out the best bow that works the best way for us? Very good question. This was a question from a subscriber. Thank you very much, and thank you all for your continued support, kind questions, comments, sending me donations, booking lessons with me. I truly appreciate. So when it comes to bow, often the importance of having a right type of bow is overlooked. We spend a lot of time and energy investing in the violin and case and other parts, but somehow when it comes to bow, we only treat it as an accessory. However, in my opinion, the bow is as important as having the right type of violin, if not more important, because a proper bow will make your job much easier to produce beautiful sound and making or playing without difficult bow strokes. Sometimes I get questions like what kind of brand should I get, or what kind of price range is good, or what kind of wood, type of wood is good for the violin bow, and so on. In my opinion, although that can be a helpful information, the best way to find the right bow is by testing it, no matter what type of wood, no matter what price or what brand it is, because every violin bow reacts a bit differently, and also it depends on your own playing style. So the best way is to test yourself, and I'm going to give you 5 simple checklists that you can do it yourself so that you can find the right bow that works the best for you. I also would like to remind you that I offer a consultation service. So if you need help with choosing the right bow, please send me an email to topiaviolins@gmail.com, which you can find in the description below. Okay, checklist number 1. See first with your bare eyes whether all parts are working and in a proper shape. Starting, whether see all the frog parts are in one piece. Sometimes there's a little cracks in old bows. Make sure all parts are working well and all parts are nicely together. There's no gap or anything. And also there's a screw here. Make sure that's working. So you could loosen the bow, see if the bow gets loosened, and then tighten, see if it tightens properly without any clicking sound, or sometimes the screw doesn't work. So they're just functional parts. Yeah, just with your eyes you can check it, so make sure there's no cracks or anything like that. Then see you tighten your bow. I will be posting a video in this coming Thursday on my Patreon page about how to care our bows. So I encourage you to check it out, which you could find in the description below as well. So after you tighten the bow, see, you hold your bow like this, somewhat horizontal. See if you can see with one eye closed, so like that. See if you could see whether the bow is straight. The straightness is very important. So I'm gonna try to do my best to show you something like that. So you should be able to see the straightness. Yeah, that's something. So that's pretty much that anybody can check it, no matter whether you play violin or not. Now, some violin dealers or luthiers, they do some kind of tapping or bending, and then sometimes they see balancing, things like that. Maybe that works for them, but in my opinion, we as a violinist, we as a player, it's better when we actually play that one. So I'll get into that one very soon. Number 1, check all the parts are working and check whether your stick is straight by closing your one eye like that. Number 2, now we're going to start playing right away. So now we want to check whether the bow stick is well balanced by playing long tenuto bow, which means try to keep the same tone from the frog all the way tip, and then see if the sound produces evenly and without the bow stick shaking it. So you want to do a couple more times. Yeah, here you want to produce really big, fat, loud sound. So you want to see whether you could draw that one. So sometimes at the tip, because the nature of the bow, this part is much heavier than here. So when you use a bow near the tip, it loses its tone. I mean, you could adjust that one by adjusting your elbow height and stuff. It's not impossible, but if the bow has a good balanced weight throughout the stick, that makes our job easier. So while you do that, see if you can draw the sound without extra adjusting within the stroke. Yeah? So that's what you're looking for. And then after you're done, you could try also a little martele stroke. So we're trying to somewhat similar idea, but we're changing the bow speed to see how the bow stick reacts. Whether it can stay still while we move our bow fast, or it loses its balance and shakes. Yeah, like that. See if you can produce sound without bow stick losing its own balance. That's a good way. That's number 2. So long legato or tenuto sound, and then also a little of martele sound. So to check whether your bow can stay straight. Number 3, fast string crossings. Here we're testing whether the bow stick is flexible and sensitive enough when it moves up and down fastly. So it can be as you can do, this is what I test normally, so a little, but you don't have to do that one. You can do in the first position, just make up your own string crossings like D, A, E, and then F. Yeah, it would be better if you play fingered notes instead of open strings, because open strings tend to play easier. So we want to see how far we can, how well does the bow do the difficult jobs, this fingered notes. So let's say we put first finger here on A string, and then maybe second finger, something like this. So I put second finger on D string, first finger on A string, and then I do in the middle bow, and then I do string crossing. And then you do a little fast, see if you can produce clean tone while doing fast. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. See whether the bow can sustain on the string without being bounced off, and then while producing clear sound. Something like that. So that would be a good one. And then with the same way, with the string crossings, you could do also slur, which is a bit hard for the bow to speak well. So we're testing, again, the flexibility of the bow while doing slurs. Same fingering, something fingered on 2 strings back and forth. So, and then you do a little fast to see how the bow is reacting. Yeah. Not so good flexible bow would make a lot of whistle sound, because the stick is staying straight instead of being a little more flexible, adjusting that one. So we're just testing whether the bow stick is flexible and sensitive enough to move a little along with you. That was list 3. List 4, bouncing strokes. Bouncing strokes such as spiccato. Every bow has a bouncing spot where it bounces easily. We want to check that one, whether bow is properly made or the bow stick is well balanced. That allows us to do difficult stroke like a spiccato or sautille, or sometimes a ricochet. Sorry. And see if you can do all 4 string ricochet. Because that's something that we're going to use later. Because that comes later in a little Mendelssohn concerto. So even when you're not there yet, just you want to have the bow that can give you that kind of possibility. So, but if you don't know how to ricochet over 4 string yet, that's okay. So test it on 1 string. So on A string, 1 up bow, and then several. See? So you're just testing whether your bow can bounce nicely while you can control. Now, last one. This is my personal preferences, but I think it works well. Because the way the bow structure works, this part is heavy and this tip is light, which means when we play up bow, when we're playing soft tone, that's fine, but sometimes we want to play really loud. for different reasons. Sometimes we want to have a really good grip, or sometimes we have to go up and down. Sorry. So we need to have a strong tip grip. And then that's what I look for also. It's my list 5. So now the way I do that is see if I can do fast string crossings, but this time really at the tip while doing slurs. See if I can get the strong accented sound at the tip. Yeah. So also I tested a little E string. Yeah, something like that. So those are my 5 lists that it works for me every time, and I hope you can test it yourself and then find the right bow that works for you. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again. Bye bye.